Iran, Russia, China, North Korea, ISIS, Al-Qaeda. They may be watching this right now. Our military should not be mistaken for a cable news gabfest show. We don't care what you look like. We don't care who you voted for, who you worship, what you worship, who you love. It doesn't matter if your dad left you millions when he died or if you knew who your father was. We have been honed into a machine of lethal moving parts that you would be wise to avoid if you know what's good for you. We will not be intimidated. We will not back down. We've seen war. We don't want war. But if you want war with the United States of America, there's one thing I can promise you, so help me God. Someone else will raise your sons and daughters.
I want to make it clear that the views expressed by our hosts are not considered the official stance of MBR Views. Remember, this is all about having fun and enjoying the
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. I'm Amber.
I'm Alora, and this is Otzi.
Sorry, Alora's name isn't on here, but I didn't think she was going to be able to join us.
Yeah, I just tuned in real quick, or I just came home from buying a motorcycle, so here we are.
I know. I didn't get to see it yet. I'm really excited to see it.
After the show, I'll show you. I might not be here for the whole show, though, because I'm feeling a little ill, but...
Yeah. What color is it?
It's red, just like my car. So kind of got a theme going.
Awesome.
But to everyone who's watching this, I completely intend on painting it pink, putting sparkles on it, bedazzling the license plate holder, and making it the bitchiest, girliest thing you've ever seen. I live to make people question my decisions. But anyway, on that note, let's get into the show.
Okay, well, I did want to address something. So last week, I was the stream was supposed to be of Dr. Lauren Michaels Harris. He was a guest of mine on May 28th, which was the 9th anniversary of my mom's death. And I've tried to upload this podcast twice, or this episode twice, and it hasn't worked. So I'm going to try and re-release it after this. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. I was in a weird place. Like I said, it was the anniversary of my mom's death. And during that time, all the research I was doing dealt with mothers. And Dr. Lauren, his own history is of him being in foster care. And he had 22 mothers. And so it just kind of worked out that way that we were able to talk about moms. So I enjoyed the episode, but I was very vulnerable. So, but yeah, so I want to release that after we're done here.
I was not there for this interview, unfortunately. Yes. So
yeah, Alora's hit and miss when she's with me because she has her own life, and I'm a disabled veteran and have nothing to do.
This is her podcast. I just come on here so she has someone to bounce ideas off of sometimes.
Yeah. Okay, so today we have my manager from Military Broadcast Radio, Joel, or H, I guess he goes by. I haven't gotten used to calling people by their DJ names and
stuff
like that.
Go ahead and dox them while you're at it.
No. I know. I know. That's all right, though. So we're going to bring Joel up. Hello, Joel.
Hello. How are you, Laura?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Sorry I didn't get to say hi to you in the forward.
Before all this. I'm good. Now, when you get a motorcycle, please tell me that you got a Harley.
Unfortunately, I didn't get a Harley, but it's not because I don't want a Harley. It's because I haven't ridden a bike in probably 6, 7, 8 years. Okay. And I'd like to learn how to do it on a bike that's not as nice in case there's any kind of an accident or something.
Yeah, I'll buy that.
But I paid more for it than I paid for my car. So
Okay, yeah, I buy that.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because like when I went to visit my dad, he doesn't have a Harley. I have a Harley, and he's like, "Here, you can ride this," and it's a little Suzuki. And I told him, I'm like, you know how I know that you can't get women is because I'm driving the Suzuki, and I'm thinking it's going to be kind of right, and no, it's like that doesn't exactly drop girls' drawers or whatever. So that's the difference between Harley and the Suzuki.
Well, I have a Suzuki. I don't remember what it is. I got the exact same one as Charles.
Yeah, so my son has the same one.
I got a Suzuki, but don't worry, I can get girls. I pull hella bitches. No.
Oh,
sorry. Anyway, moving on.
Oh boy.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Thank you for allowing me to crash your podcast today, you girls. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. I was trying to figure out something to talk about because I know you want me to go live more.
Well, look, you got 21 viewers. I mean that's awesome. So
yeah, I know. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.
We
by the way,
every single one.
And I forget that people are out there actually watching me live.
Yeah, if you look at the little left-hand corner over there, you can see who's watching.
I know. So yeah, so we're going to get into the weird case of Sherri Papini. I didn't really know much about her when her case actually happened. It was in 2016, and at that time I was still in bed.
Yeah.
For the majority of my life. So I didn't really know anything about it. And then a couple of years ago, whenever she got arrested, is when it came to my attention. So we're just going to talk about what happened, and we're going to basically do a review of The Perfect Wife on Hulu.
Okay, so is this a true story? This Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney?
Oh, did you get the? You know what?
Did you just tell him to look up The Perfect Wife and you didn't specify what it was? Is that what it was?
Well, I said Hulu, but I don't know if The Perfect Wife book is the same as The Perfect Wife on Sherri Papini.
There might be a miscommunication here, but either way, that's fine. We can all just have a good time talking about it regardless.
Yeah,
no, that's okay. I just used the Chat GPT, so of course it probably wouldn't work the way that I thought it would, on the Batman computer. But yeah, I if it's not The Perfect Wife by J.P. Delaney, then chances are we're talking about two different things. So
I think that's something totally different, but that's okay. No worries.
Now we're done.
No, but would you mind explaining to Joel and or H and our viewers what happened with Sherri?
Yeah, so it's a very convoluted story, but basically what it is Sherri Papini, who was a wife and a mother, and I think she was about 35 years old or something like that. She was supposedly out running, and she went out towards her mailbox, and she lives in a pretty rural area from what it looked like. And when she went out to the mailbox, supposedly these Hispanic women grabbed her and kidnapped her. And so basically, we're just going to kind of go into what I've learned and go from there. So on November 2nd in Redding, California, which is, I guess, Northern California, up around the Humboldt area, where they have all the weed farms and everything.
Ooh, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's up in that area. So she was running, and like I said, she went out to the mailbox, and she said that two women in a car went past her, then stopped, backed up and stopped, and then grabbed her. And now Sherri actually says in the documentary that she pulled her earbud out, and when she did, she pulled her hair. And when the women grabbed her phone and everything fell on the ground there next to the mailboxes. So when her husband comes home, which is around 5 o'clock after he's gotten off of work, he's wondering where her and his kids are. And she actually was supposed to have picked up the kids from daycare, and no one was home. So he called the daycare. And by the way, her husband's name is Keith Papini. And he called the daycare to see if his wife had picked up the kids, and she hadn't. So I don't know if he tried to call her or not, but he went and used the Find My Phone app on iPhone and traced her phone down to the mailboxes, found them, and then called the police. And that's what set off the investigation into trying to find out what happened to Sherri Papini. And there were a lot of resources being utilized. There were a lot of man hours, a lot of time being used by police officers and volunteers to look for Sherri. And so there were 22 days where she was missing. She went missing, like I said, on November 2nd. And that whole time, everybody was trying to find her. But on November 24th, and this is 2016, by the way, she was released by her captors. And it was Thanksgiving morning, which I haven't heard a whole lot of people talk about this, but I find it interesting that she wanted to go home Thanksgiving morning. I feel like it was a
imagine coming home on Thanksgiving morning. I mean, like, yeah, that's quite a sensational thing, and it stirs up a lot of emotions. I mean, you're already kind of like with the whole family, all that sort of thing. I mean, that didn't cross my mind, but you're saying it, so I'm just kind of agreeing.
Yeah, no, and you watched the show with me, so
I watched a quarter of the show with her. I think I got sick.
The only thing that I remember about Captive is that thing that happened a couple of years ago with that guy in Illinois where he trapped this woman for like 14 or 15 years. And then whenever they went to interview him, or you haven't heard about this one yet?
Maybe sometimes certain stories kind of blend together. So just keep telling us about it.
They created a movie on it. Evidently, there was this girl that he was friends with, and he was part of like the family FRG meetings and all these other different stuff. And they interviewed him. Hey, you know, they did like a candlelight for the daughter when she became missing, and she was missing for a good like 14, 15 years. And
wow.
All of a sudden one day she found a way and was waving at the door, and the next door neighbor came over and broke down the door and freed her and all that stuff. And they were talking about giving him like a huge fortune, you know, for helping. And he's like, nah, she has a long road ahead of her. She needs that money more than I do.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Wow. It kind of sounds similar to, I want to say like Ariel Castro. I don't think that's what he's talking about, but is it Ariel Castro?
Okay. He actually had 3 women.
Yeah, he had 3 women. And I think one of them, he like picked 1 or 2 of them he picked up from like a bus stop, I want to say.
Something like that.
I think he was like a school bus driver, I almost want to say. Don't quote me on that 100%.
I think he was.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, because this is a dumb thing to connect it to. I'm not laughing. Real quick, I want to say I sometimes laugh at inappropriate times. And after rewatching my last live, I laughed at a couple inappropriate times. So I want everyone to know that I'm trying to be sensitive to certain things, and none of it is intentional. That being said, I just wanted that little disclaimer out there. But yeah, no, a silly thing to connect it to though is back in like the early 2010s, there was like this YouTube channel. And they would like make music videos out of clips, the Bed Intruder song. You remember the climb in your window thing?
Yeah.
So anyway, they did that. But then they also did like a song with that guy's interview. And he was like, I think he said that like he had big testicles or something like that. That was like the whole thing. That was like the whole song. It was like, he would always invite him over for like ribs or something. I don't know. I should find it. Yeah. He's like,
well, I do remember him actually saying, because it was a black guy who rescued her, and he's like, if a white girl is running to me into my arms, then something is wrong.
I'm not going to sing it, but I actually think I remember the song, and it's like Pretty Little White Girl Runs Into a Black Girl's Arms, Dead Giveaway. That's the name of the song. It was Dead Giveaway. Anyway.
Thank you for joining us on TikTok. Thank you. We got people joining us on TikTok, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. Thank you, Moni.
Hey, awesome. TikTok.
Hey, TikTok. Didn't even realize we were on TikTok right now.
I forget about that too. So we're actually going to go to a break, and then we'll come back and we'll actually get into when Sherri was released and talk about all of that and talk about the wild stuff that she did, because I am completely shocked.
No, she definitely she has a flair for the dramatics, I have to say.
Most definitely. Most definitely. So we're going to go to a break, and we're going to listen to Insane by Cade Roth and the Black Sheep. Come back and join us.
Drink you off of my mind. I think about you all the time. Yeah, the whiskey can't wash you away. Now those memories, they won't fade. Can't get you out of my head. Can't forget what you said. I wake up screaming your name. I think I'm going insane. I think I'm going insane. Since you left me, I can't sleep. When I shut my eyes, you're all I see. Yeah, you're leaving. It's getting to me. Oh, I swear it's driving me crazy. I can't get you out of my head. Can't forget what you said. I wake up screaming your name. I think I'm going insane. I think I'm going insane. Oh, please tell me, why did you leave? Oh, please tell me, tell me, tell me. I can't get you out of my head. Can't forget what you said. I wake up screaming your name. I think I'm going insane. I think I'm going insane. I'm going insane. I'm going insane. I'm going insane.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. That was Insane by Cade Roth and the Black Sheep. And today we are talking about the Perfect Wife documentary on Hulu about Sherri Papini. And we left off, we were talking about, wait, does G stand? What did that say?
Says, does G stand for gangster? Does anybody that's been in the military and rides Harley has to be a gangster?
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh Lord. That's my husband, by the way.
And he's a big man.
Anyways. Okay, so where we left off was Sherri Papini being dropped off on Thanksgiving morning of 2016. And she was dropped off 150 miles away from her home where she disappeared. It was in
Sorry about that.
oh,
Oh no, you're fine. We thought it was our end.
oh, I was like, what happened? Okay, so Sherri
That was
Papini
me, evidently.
she was dropped off 150 miles from where she disappeared, and a passerby, I guess, is who found her, and he called the police, and she was chained up. She had metal clamps around her ankles and things like that, and so she was taken back to her hometown, I guess, and put in the hospital. And then when her husband came in to see her, he said, what did he say? Do you remember, Laura?
I only watched like 20 minutes of the documentary.
Oh, you did? I thought you watched more of it.
No.
Okay. So anyway, he said that when he walked in, it looked like she had been caught or that she was being untruthful. But then he said when he walked up to her and noticed, the bruising and hugged her and felt how skinny she was, that surely she couldn't have done this to herself. So right then he's like, okay, this really did happen. And that cemented in his mind from that moment on that, okay, this really did happen, because who in the world would do the things that happened to her to themselves?
We really need to figure out how to put pictures on here, because I was going to say, if you saw the pictures of it, it's absolutely it's crazy. Like, she went through the ringer. Or
Yeah.
she put herself through the ringer, but it's convincing.
Yeah, it really is convincing, because I guess what happened is, okay, so we'll just get into her injuries first off. She had a broken nose. She had a hole in her arm. She had rashes all up and down her arms. She had branding on her right shoulder that said Exodus, and then it looked like it was a Bible verse, but you couldn't really tell what it said. And then, hey, what the bug? And then,
hey, Blade, what's up? Blade's on TikTok. He's tuning in.
Hello, Blade.
Hello.
So, yeah, she just had all of these insane injuries, and she was black and blue all over the place, And so when he saw her, he's like, oh my goodness, because I think when she left, she weighed like 110, 120 pounds, something like that. And then when she was recovered, she only weighed like 89 pounds.
Wow.
And yeah, and that's a huge difference. So yeah, so when he saw her, he cemented in his mind that that had happened to her, and then he wanted to figure everything out and just help her to recover and help her to figure out who did this to her and move on with their lives. And so let's see.
I'm going to try this again. What is the full name? I'm going to put it in Chat GPT and see if it can give me better. Can you send me in the private chat her full name so that I can bring up what the back computer brings up?
Yeah, it's Sherri
Perfect.
Papini, and it's the Perfect Wife. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
It's the Perfect Wife documentary on Hulu.
Okay.
And there's her name. You
All right.
can.
Thank you.
You're
I'm going to
welcome.
be able to bring up her whole life, basically.
Okay. So let's see. Where
I don't trust AI. I try not to use it for anything.
Sherri Papini. If that's not how you spell it, I'm sorry I butchered it. But Sherri Papini, the documentary of 2000. So Sherri Papini, who gained national attention in 2016 for faking her own kidnapping, is now living in Redding, California after serving time in prison. Initially, Papini claims she was abducted by 2 Hispanic women while jogging near her home. She reappeared 22 days later with injuries, alleging that she had been held captive and tortured. Her story prompted a massive search, significant media coverage. However, investigators later revealed that Papini had been staying with her ex-boyfriend James Reyes during her disappearance in 2022. She was sentenced to 18 months in prison for making false statements to federal officers and committing mail fraud. Now, this isn't the same woman that said that she saw like a baby going across the street, is it?
No,
that's
Carly Russell.
Yeah, that happened like last year.
Okay. She was also ordered to pay $3,000 in restitution for the resources spent on the search and investigation, TV Insider and People Magazine source. Currently, Papini has been released from prison, resides in a halfway house. She has supervised visitations with her children and is reportedly working on writing a book and establishing a foundation to help others, TV Insider. Her ex-husband, Keith Papini, now we know why he's ex, has full custody of the children and has stated that they are doing well in school and extracurricular activities.
Thank you, Joel. that is a much better synopsis than what I did. Because when somebody asks you to recount the story, it's like, okay, well, it's hard to recount such a convoluted story in such a short amount of time. And that's kind of why I don't get into true crime or anything like that, actually doing any content about it, because
say, girl, you already done true crime content. Let's say that that's why you're apprehensive to potentially doing more in the future.
Yeah, because there's just so much to factor in. And with this woman, I'm telling you what,
she's special, kind of crazy.
It boggles my mind that somebody. Now, we've all been through terrible traumatic events in our lives, in our childhood, but we all choose to do different things. And she chose to go from a traumatic childhood, I guess. They said that her parents were drug addicts and that her older sister raised her. I mean, that sounds like my life, except for, I raised my little brother, and I'm not going around doing hoaxes and things like that. So,
but imagine how much attention you can get. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, she got like her 15 minutes of fame. I mean,
but at what cost?
I mean, I know we're not Ellen or Oprah Winfrey, but hey, we're talking about right now. So, it's just making her more famous.
Yeah, no, definitely. And that's why I'm very wary of talking about certain people, because I don't want to keep putting their name out there. But sometimes people's stories need to be told as either cautionary tales or, as what to look for, red flags to look for in certain situations or in relationships.
Well, hell, if the documentary or whatever movie is on Hulu about it, I mean, that's pretty much makes it kind of fair game.
Yeah, it does. And that's the same thing with other people, who have been in these situations where they become infamous.
Mhm.
You know, some people build their whole content and channel around one specific person or a couple of them, you know, and I don't know that I like that necessarily, of always just doing true crime, but you know, to each his own, and it just is what it is.
The water can just get muddy with true crime. And like I said earlier, you know, like there were certain instances in the live stream like a couple weeks ago where like I laughed at inappropriate times, and stuff like that will happen where a lot of people will just be so desensitized to things that they accidentally end up being insensitive or come off as insensitive. And just talking about such serious things, it's just kind of difficult to try to navigate it properly, because you want to make sure that you're telling the story the way that it deserves to be told, and you want to make sure that you're giving the victims the justice that they deserve. And it's just hard. So yeah, that's why our true crime coverage will probably be few and far between, or things like this where it's like, you know, it sucks, but it didn't like greatly affect, like someone didn't kill anyone from what I understand.
No one was killed or anything like that. Yeah. But it is, because they made a documentary of it, it brought it to my attention. And I'm not normally watching TV or anything like that, but Paul from what is his name?
Oh, are you talking about the sofa?
Yeah, the sofa guy.
Reporting live from my sofa.
Yeah, reporting live from my sofa. Paul, he brought it to my attention on YouTube, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, I need to go watch this documentary. And then when I did, I was just so flabbergasted. And so here's some of the things that we need to get into. Well, actually, I guess we need to go to a break, and then we'll come back and get into all of basically the racism that played a role in this whole thing. And it seems to me that from Sherri's past history, even as a teenager, that she was racist, and that this just kind of
this is just an excuse to get attention and to spread her agenda.
Yeah,
basically.
Well, before we go on break, let's do a real quick shout out to What the Bug, Rebrand, and MJ for joining our little our little what do you call it? Our little
live
party
stream
today. So
little party.
And Vanessa, yeah, I saw Vanessa on there as well. Thank you guys for being here. So we're going to go and we're going to play Silent Anthem by Barbara Sim.
She needs a little whiskey to sing the blues. It strips her down and she speaks the truth. Her anthem rings in quiet rooms, filled with smoke and day-old cruises. Takes all she's got to be. Don't matter anymore. Drown to pain to make it through. All she ever wanted was love, not a war. And now all that remains is this spinning road. Hear the beat. She's not giving up. Steady rhythm set apart. A marching drum for hope and skies. The meek and mild turn to stone. Protection from unending storms. And when the moment comes, road ahead, it all to the cause she had to be with.
opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. That was Silent Anthem by Barbara Sim. So when we left off, we were talking about racism and the things that she was doing. So when Sherri, actually, let's just go back to when Sherri was around 16 or so. I'm not genuinely sure because the timeline is kind of messed up on everything. But from what I understand, when Sherri was a teenager, she went on to a racist website and created a blog talking about how she was suspended several times from high school for fighting Latinos, and that's her words, and that she got in a fight, and that her dad owned a pizza place or something like that. I don't know. She was just being very racist towards Latinos, and she was talking about how her she was proud of her bloodline and her heritage. And so when you look at that and then you compare it to what Sherri did as an adult at 35 years old, blaming 2 Hispanic women for her abduction, and then creating all of these terrible wounds and all of the terrible stuff that went along with this hoax and this kidnapping, she stepped into it when she started blaming the Hispanic population, or these 2 Hispanic women, for this crime. And it gets even worse because Sherri started exhibiting signs of PTSD. And Joel, you and I know what PTSD is.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So when you have PTSD, you do a lot of avoidance tactics. You get triggered from different things that happen. And Sherri's, now you did watch this part with me, didn't you, Laura? You didn't?
I just put the headphones back on.
Oh, sorry.
Keep talking. Just keep
so we were talking. So when she got back home, Sherri started going through counseling, and then she started exhibiting signs of PTSD. So, like, I guess she went to an event with family and was served black beans, and she freaked out because she said that she was only allowed to eat black beans.
Yeah, she would say that she would freak out if there was if you would serve her black beans or rice. She said that she would freak out anytime that she would see a Hispanic person on the street, or someone that was even vaguely resembling a Hispanic person, someone with just like a slightly more tan skin tone, people with like curly hair. And then what else was it? She also said that she couldn't listen to like any kind of Spanish music or anything like that, and she would just freak out. And yeah, no, it's clearly she had an agenda there.
Yeah, and to the point where, Joel, she was actually living in her home with her kids and her husband, and she was pretending to have gone through such a traumatic episode that she literally had to sit and be next to her husband at all times.
She slept with the lights on, they said, and that she would have panic attacks in front of the children. And he tried to ask her, hey, if you're going to be screaming and crying and doing all this stuff, I would prefer if you would do it away from my children. And she would just, refuse. She said, I'm going to do what I'm going to do, which, I mean, I understand that for an actual victim, but being as she wasn't an actual victim, and she very much could control what she was saying or doing in that context. It's messed up.
Well, yeah, no, and she even went as far as pretending to have nightmares in her sleep, screaming, waking her husband up. I can't even imagine Keith, her husband, now looking back on everything and just being like, oh my gosh, this woman.
And it was like 6 years, right, that she stayed with him after the fact or something like that?
Like that.
I want to say 6 years, but
It happened in 2016, and I think she finally got arrested in 2022 or something like that.
Yeah, it's been since we've been up here, so yeah.
Yeah. So can you imagine Joel going through that and then knowing that it was all fake?
No, honestly, I can't. But I know. I know your body and your mind goes through a whole different level of knowing where you are when you're dealing with that trauma. And the only reason why I bring that up
Mhm.
because of, you know, the trauma that I went through when I was just gonna say when I kind of woke up, kind of
Mhm.
remembering all these things that I've blocked out. So, it's easy to judge something, by hindsight
Yeah.
2020, but like when you
Mhm.
Mhm.
get down to it, I mean, there's people that they've had written articles that people in jail that go into like national confinement, in like a cell by themselves, and they feel that they've been there for like 7 months and they've only been there for
Mhm.
6 days or no,
Yeah.
3 days or something like that,
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
it's never know what you never know what a person's going through when they're going through trauma, and usually you
Mhm.
can
Mhm.
tell if they're going through trauma.
Mhm.
I mean, that's just my point of view, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, and for her to exhibit all of these trauma behaviors
Mhm.
and then find out that it's all false, that it's all fake, I would be so angry. I would probably lose my faith in pretty much anybody. For that to be your wife and for her to do that, gosh, I just can't even imagine it. It's
and
frustrating.
and MJ wrote on here, I don't know how to pronounce that, something an ancestor or whatever. I can't pronounce that.
Ancestral
Conditions.
condition.
Okay, patterns are created by man, ego, judgment for stereotype, bad karma.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and we all go through a lot. I mean, I've been through a lot and
Right.
I didn't choose to do these things.
True.
And
And Vanessa, right? Something was going on with Sherri before all this happened, and
yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
Mhm.
Before before Jeffrey Dahmer got caught, you saw he was going through a little bit of like a trauma or whatever before he got caught.
Mhm.
If you've seen
Mhm.
the Netflix documentary, so it makes
Mhm.
Yeah.
sense. It is once you get in that frame of mind, it doesn't get any better until you get it fixed. You can avoid it, but you have to fix it.
Mhm.
Yeah, I watched a video that I think it's Hidden True Crime with Dr. John and Lauren, I think. And they were looking at this case and he was talking about how Sherri had lost her job and been given a severance package
Wow.
before all this happened. And her husband and her actually got a postnuptial agreement because he found out that she was talking to other guys before all this happened. And so he created a postnuptial to where they had their own separate money and she had to pay certain things and he had to pay certain things, and he told her that he was not going to pay for a babysitter because she was at home, she wasn't working, so he wasn't going to foot that bill. And instead of doing things for the family, Sherri took that money and got a boob job. And
Priorities.
yeah, I know.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm literally biting my tongue because I'm a man, so I ain't saying nothing.
Well, I was gonna say I'm not gonna knock it. No, I mean we gotta knock it. I'm just kidding.
Well, it's one thing if you're single or if you have extra income coming in and you want to do something like that. But if you've got children and a husband,
I agree with the extra income. We'll disagree on the other part, but yeah. Do what you want to do with your body, girl. But
No, I don't mind that at all.
but unrelated. No, I'm not defending Sherri for the record. I'm just being an idiot over here.
MJ says, is she bipolar or have a walk-in?
Yeah, so I don't know what her diagnoses are, but I'm pretty sure they're pretty extensive.
I'm not going to play armchair psychologist.
Oh
on
yeah,
this
no,
one.
no, no. I just can't even imagine the frame of mind that you have to be in to pull off something this elaborate. And so let's see. Trying to find in my notes. Okay, so after Sherri gets home, Keith, her husband, decides to play detective, and so he starts mapping out the rooms. So he asks her, you know, he was going to different rooms in their house and asking, you know, is the room you were in, was it this size or was it this size? And then he would draw out everything that she explained to him. And he drew a picture of the closet for her. And there was a very distinct feature in the closet. There was like metal that created two shelves at the top of the closet, and the metal had like a corkscrew. It almost kind of reminded me of rebarb or something like that, where somebody had just stuck it in and created the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
And so Keith had made a drawing of that, and then he would ask her like, what's furniture, what did the furniture in the house look like? And he found a picture of a coffee table that she said resembled the coffee table that was in this house. So everything that he got, he forwarded to the FBI. And unbeknownst to them, they were working in the background, running down all of these leads. And I think one of the key pieces of evidence was the coffee table that Sherri had said was in the house. And it was actually black legs with like a black and gray marble. And the FBI ran down pictures and found a picture of a man in that, or with that table. And it just so happened that the man was the brother of one of Sherri's ex-boyfriends. And so and his name was James Reyes. And so I guess that led the police to start looking into him, even though he was actually on the suspect list for a while because he was an abusive ex. And from what I understand, there was actually somebody parked outside of his house for a couple of days while Sherri was missing, but never noticed that Sherri was there. Yeah, I know. So yeah, this ex named James Reyes had Sherri had said that he was extremely abusive. He was a hockey player, and there was even some allegations of some essaying or something like that. I'm not really sure, but everybody in her circle knew that he was a bad dude. So I don't know why they didn't follow up more on that, but it took like 2 years before they brought Sherri back into the interrogation room and started questioning her about all of the items that they found. And then the FBI eventually goes to James Reyes. They look in his home. They find that everything matches, even including the closet that was so distinct. And eventually, Sherri gets arrested, but I think it took another almost 2 years after that initial interrogation for her to be arrested. And then you had COVID and all of that. So I can only imagine what the judicial system was like at that point there.
And, you know, with those cases, Amber, it really takes a long time for them to collect that evidence. I don't think, you know, it's a old story that you hear, lies travel faster than the truth. And that's what it is. And the reason why it takes so long to get that stuff, the truth court case and everything, is people are scared. They don't want to come out with the stuff because they only know what they know. They don't know that there's more to the story than just her point of view or his point of view. That's why it takes so long.
Yeah. And we're programmed to do the whole, CSI, we watch a TV show in an hour and everything's wrapped up.
Right.
That's not how it works.
Yeah. And even if you have DNA matches like they did in this case, if the DNA is not on file, then there's no way you can find out who it is anyways. And I think they actually had to go back and do some familial DNA testing or something like that through Ancestry. I'm not really sure if that's what they did, but that's what it kind of sounds like. So yeah, I mean, she ended up having to pay back $30,000 in restitution because she tapped into the Victims Impact Fund there in the state of California that pays victims who have been through something traumatic like this.
Okay, because on this it says that she was ordered to pay over $300,000 in restitution.
Oh, $300,000.
Resources spent on search and investigation.
Okay,
that
so that makes
the Insider and People Magazine.
Yeah, that makes more sense that it would be higher than that than just the initial 30,000 because of all the man hours and gas, and I'm sure they had planes up and everything. So I can't even imagine how much an actual rescue mission costs.
Almost an entire month too that they had the rescue mission going on.
22 days.
Yeah, not cheap for a couple days. Certainly not cheap for all those.
And in California too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So we're actually, do you have anything else to say on this, Joel? Because it's just a crazy convoluted story.
I think we did pretty well. We told the truth about the facts that are out there, and we kind of broke it down Barney style so that the listeners and viewers they kind of understand what the situation is with different traumas and different things, and I would hope and I would pray that people, when they listen to this show, that they would have kind of like an open mind. For example, like I saw the Jeffrey Dahmer's, documentary, and I can say that, even though I think what he did was, unforgivable, when I watched the documentary, at least I understood why he did what he did, and I'm not saying that makes it better, but you're not hoping he burns in hell as fast, you kind of thing, you kind of understand his sickness or whatever. I don't know, but no, I'm good with this. So whatever you guys want to come back from segment talk about, we could talk about the Pat Tillman with the award that was given to Harry here lately. We can talk about that.
Yeah, and Alora, did you want to say something about Jeffrey Dahmer?
Oh, I don't want to talk about Jeffrey Dahmer, to be honest. I was to say, no, I don't. I have a lot of opinions on Jeffrey Dahmer, but no, all I was gonna say is just moral of the story is don't fake a kidnapping. And if for some reason you have to do something like that to get away from like a toxic relationship, which is not what happened here, tell the police first, so that you don't get charged with something like this. So that was just my thought, but anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. Okay, so we're going to go to break. We're going to hear Goodbye from Cade Roth and the Black Sheep, and stay tuned and we'll be back.
Got scars on my knuckles, scars on my heart, right there where you tore it apart. Got a tattoo right on my chest, reminds me of you and all of the past. myself up, dusted myself off. Now here I am, and I wrote you this song. So goodbye, baby. I hope you cry, I hope you miss me, but I'm through missing you. You left a note sitting on the table, said that you were no longer able to love me. Oh, to love me. Don't you know I gave you everything, worked my fingers to the bone just to buy you a ring. You left me. Oh, you left me. So goodbye, baby. I hope you cry, I hope you miss me, but I'm through missing you. Baby, you're someone that I'll never forget. Losing me will be your biggest regret. So goodbye, baby. I hope you cry, I hope you miss me, but I'm through missing you.
Opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. And now we're going to get into a big controversy with Prince Harry. I've actually been wanting to talk about Prince Harry and his wife for a long time, but I never know how to go about it. What?
Oh, I was just gonna say, peep Diana in the background.
Yeah.
She got two Dianas.
Yeah, I got two Dianas.
Two
So
of them.
I was wondering what those dolls were in the behind there. You know what's so funny is when I was younger, I collected Care Bears. And the one
I
thing
love
that
that.
my mom used to laugh at is I felt weird getting naked in front of the Care Bears, even in front of my dog. I felt weird getting naked. So before I did anything, even like making out with a girl or anything, I would actually turn them around so they're facing the wall. I was so scared. And then they came out with movies like Chucky and stuff. And I'm like, what the hell, over? Yeah, oh,
I know.
Did you ever have posters of like actual people on your wall?
Yes.
Yes. How did you feel about that? Was it worse?
You know, it wasn't too bad because so I had a poster that I got from my brother that had like this woman Marine, and she was practically naked and says, "I'm looking for a few good men." You know.
Oh, okay. So he was fine with this.
See, I could shut that door though. You know, it wasn't inside my room; it was outside. So.
Oh, okay. I have stuff all over my room.
Probably would have felt weird getting dressed in front of a picture. Yeah, so
I remember
have problems.
I remember when Chucky came out, and my cousin had a My Buddy doll.
What it was based off of, right? Yeah.
Oh yes, and he had it in the closet, and he had it along with all of his Teddy Ruxpin dolls. So I have a family connection where my aunt's sister married the guy who created Teddy Ruxpin. And so my cousins used to have like all of the animated toys and everything like that. So you put in My Buddy and then all of the Teddy Ruxpin toys.
I have to say, circa 2014, I want to say, we went to Halloween Horror Nights in at Universal, in Orlando. Yeah, I forgot about that until you mentioned Teddy Ruxpin and being creepy. They had a house called Dollhouse of the Damned, and they had like a Teddy Ruxpin like mounted on the wall with like his head cut off and like blood coming out of his mouth. And it was like, do you think that your aunt approved that, or your aunt's sister, or whoever the hell? I was like, do you think that got approved, or do you think that just? Well, anyway.
Yeah, so that's I'm scared to death of animatronic things that are in my home. I will not have any animatronic things in my home.
I'm not afraid of animatronics per se. I have something called submechanophobia. So specifically, if I'm in the water or they're in the water, I can't explain it to you. So like Jurassic Park, like that ride, like all that stuff scares the shit out of me. Like I'll go on, but like I'm just gonna like.
So are
Pirates
you
of the Caribbean got me.
So
I'm not scared of water. I'm afraid. Okay, so submechanophobia is if there's an animatronic and the water's present. And well, actually, I think technically it's like man-made things in the water.
Break it down to me, Barney style. What does animatronic mean? These are words that I'm hearing for the first time.
An animatronic, like, have you ever been to like Disney or Universal or anything like that?
Yeah. Or Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, it's like it's like the robot that's like moving around. Animals. Yeah. Stuff like that. Yeah. So animatronics. So anything like that. So I can do Chuck E. Cheese. I can do show theaters. I can do all that stuff. But if I'm in the water or they're in the water, it freaks me out for some reason. Like I straight up have a panic attack going on the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. I mean, I haven't been on it since I was probably 12. So that probably made it worse. I'd probably be fine now.
I can understand that because whenever I go to like carnivals or anything, that seahorse thing, that ride, it goes up and down. Like I thought that I had the world by its balls when I got back from basic training. I'm like, I'm going to do this because I'm going to prove that. Within like 30 minutes, it felt like 30 minutes. Within like 8 minutes, I wanted off that ride, but I didn't say nothing.
I get it. I get it.
Yeah, we used to spend a lot of time at Disney and Universal when the kids were young. So I've had my fair share of rides that I was on and was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get off of this now.
It's a Small World can kick rocks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a small world.
Rocks.
Yeah, and I think actually Ken, Aunt Jill's sister's husband, who created
Teddy Ruxpin guy. That's what she's talking about.
I think he worked on It's a Small World too.
So he's fueled my nightmares. Is what wasn't there some book that came out? I think it was like a children's book, and it was about like Disney, how it like came to life or something. And then they had like I don't remember what it was called, like the Kingdom Keepers or something.
Yeah,
is that what
Kingdom
it was?
Keepers. Yeah.
And then there was like some book or something where they talk about how they went to It's a Small World and how like all of them came alive and like tried to kill them or something, and that just made it worse. So like no. And
then we went on the ride after
like
that.
a day later, like
yeah, okay. So anyways, we're gonna get into Prince Harry, he was awarded or is going to be awarded the ESPY award from the NFL.
Tillman Award.
I don't know what any of this stuff is, so if I don't understand what it is, the viewers probably don't know what it is. So,
So you know what? Actually, this is something positive that came from Chat GPT. I'm going to read this. Okay.
Okay.
So Prince Harry was honored with the Pat Tillman Award for service at the 2024 ESPYs Awards. This award recognizes his commitment to humanitarian causes and his dedication to supporting veterans and their families through the Invictus Games. The Invictus Games, found by Prince Harry in 2014, provide a platform for wounded, injured, and sick servicemen and women who compete in various sports, showcasing their resilience and determination. And you had a talk with Brian Big Country, and he was getting ready for the Invictus Games. I think that was like
not Invictus.
Oh, okay, it's totally different then. Okay, all right. Prince Harry's efforts have significantly impacted the lives of many veterans, highlighting the importance of mental health and rehabilitation for those who have served. His dedication to these causes exemplifies the spirit of Pat Tillman Award, honoring individuals who have made significant contributions through service. And the sources are The Independent and Debish.
Yes. Yeah, so that's basically what's happening. Prince Harry is being given an award by the NFL for his outstanding humanitarianism.
Humanitarianism?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. And you know me, anytime Prince Harry gets brought up in the news, I'm going to pay attention.
I know you. I don't think maybe some of our viewers don't understand why you might be apprehensive to Prince Harry.
Okay,
because
well,
that would be some good context.
Yeah, it would be some good context. Okay, so I'm a history nerd, like I've said, and I love Princess Diana, as you can see.
Yeah.
And she was a great humanitarian. I mean, she was the first person to really bring people with like AIDS and leprosy and different things into our minds as people that you could still be around and still take care of and love and all of that. And
yeah, she fought the stigma real hard. I remember there was a big thing about how there was a picture taken of her, I think, shaking the hand of someone with AIDS.
Yeah.
And she wasn't wearing a glove or anything like that. And obviously we know now that you don't have to wear gloves to protect yourself from AIDS or whatever. But back then, they didn't think that. And that was a really controversial thing. And, she just humanized them.
Yeah. I mean, we thought that you could get AIDS from the drinking fountain, So, I mean, it was that big of a scare, and for her to do what she did was just astronomically important.
Showed that she cared about the communities in which it affected.
Yeah, so I'm a history nerd. I like Princess Diana, and when Prince Harry met his now wife Meghan, I was really excited for them. I actually wanted them, to get all involved in the monarchy and start making some things happen. And they got created they got put in charge as the vice president and president of the Commonwealth, which was an awesome thing, and they could have done some really great things, but they ended up in my mind, and this is what I think, in my opinion, I feel like he was being traitorous to his country and to his family when he walked away and did what he did on the Oprah interview and all of the subsequent things that have come out.
You should add additional context to that. And I only say that because what he talked about the Oprah interview, a lot of people take everything that's said at like face value. And You know what I mean? Like they were talking about like racism within the palace and different things like that. And we want to clarify that we're not saying that that's anti the country. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, no.
I just want to make sure we're very clear about what it is that you have a problem with and what it is that you agree with or don't believe is true or this stuff like that.
So like he when he left the UK to live in Canada and then now here in the US, he revealed a lot of things about his personal life, and one of the things he revealed is that when he was in training or in service of some kind, he was in, I can't remember if it was a Black Hawk helicopter or something. He was in it, and his dad was driving away, and he had a thought of blowing his dad up. And then on top of that, you've got him calling the royal family and the whole country or the whole UK racist. And it's one thing if you have personal opinions about something, but to blanket statement say that all of UK is racist is not a very good thing, especially for the king's, at that time, the queen's grandson and now the king's son. And he's just doing a lot of things against Britain and against the royal family that I think are wrong. And I've done enough research to say that.
I'd like to throw out that I think the royal family can kick rock. And I think that they killed Diana. She does not, but I do.
I don't think that they did, but you know, it is what it is. And so yeah, I've been following Prince Harry and Meghan Markle since they came out as a couple. And because I watched Suits with my husband, I watched the first season at least and pretty much enjoyed it.
For her. I got a crush big time on her because of Suits. I'll admit it.
All of those pencil skirts.
We all have our own types.
And no, she actually is a very beautiful woman, so I don't take that from her at all. She's very beautiful.
Oh, she's pretty.
And so yeah, I really liked them. I was rooting for them, and then when more and more stuff started coming out, you know, I was like, I think something else is going on here, and then yeah, lo and behold, there is. But that's something for another day. But I want to talk about Harry being honored with the Pat Tillman Award. And I wanted to read you guys from the Pat Tillman Foundation just a little bit about Pat Tillman as a person. And I think this is one of the reasons why I'm frustrated that Prince Harry is being awarded this award. So I don't know if everybody knows, but Pat Tillman was in the NFL. And after 9/11, he decided to serve his country and join the army. And then he ended up being killed. So Pat's NFL success did not go to his head or break his principles. He still drove to the games in the same beat-up truck he had in college. He had no cell phone. He chose to read voraciously and develop debate and discuss his ideas with eager listeners, family, and friends. He made your passion his passion. In the off-season, he challenged himself physically with marathons and half-Ironman triathlons while pursuing a master's degree in history from his alma mater. He volunteered with the Boys and Girls Club, the March of Dimes, and read and talked to students in schools across the Phoenix Valley. The day after the attacks of September 11, 2001, Pat told a reporter, "At times like this, you stop and think about just how good we have it, what kind of system we live in, and the freedoms we are allowed. A lot of my family has gone and fought in wars, and I really haven't done a damn thing." In the spring of 2002, Pat married his high school love, Marie, and upon his return from his honeymoon, announced to the Cardinals that he had decided to place his NFL career on hold to enlist in the U.S. Army with his brother Kevin. The decision shocked many and garnered national media attention, despite his refusal to speak publicly about the choice. Pat and Kevin joined the U.S. Army that July, committing to a 3-year term. They were assigned to the 2nd Battalion of the 75th Ranger Regiment in Fort Lewis, Washington. They served tours in Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom in 2003 and in Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom in 2004. On the evening of April 22, 2004, Pat's unit was ambushed as it traveled through the rugged canyon terrain of eastern Afghanistan. His heroic efforts to provide cover for fellow soldiers as they escaped from the canyon led to his ultimate and tragic death via fratricide. I thought fratricide was... No, that's parasite. I don't
I'm
even know.
learning new words every day.
So you're looking at me? I was like, I don't know what that is.
While the story of Pat's death may have been the most publicized in the war on terror, it is Pat's life, principles, and service that are his true legacy. Pat's family and friends started the Pat Tillman Foundation to carry forward that legacy by giving military service members, veterans, and spouses who embodied those principles the education, tools, and support to reach their fullest potential as leaders, no matter how they choose to serve. Okay, so that's just a little bit of Pat Tillman. Now, where I have the issue is that Prince Harry has been involved with lots of charities and organizations that have been questionable at best. And actually, I'm going to read one of the things that I found about this. Let's see.
Oh,
Okay.
dead silence. We can't have dead silence.
Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so I wanted to know what charities Prince Harry had been involved in that had had scandals, and one of the most pronounced ones is African Parks. And so it says Prince Harry has been involved with several charities that have faced controversy or accusation of questionable practices. One notable example is his association with African Parks. Harry has been a board member and a former president of this organization, which manages 22 national parks and protected areas across Africa. African Parks has faced serious allegations of human rights abuse, including rape, torture, and beatings of indigenous people by its armed guards. These allegations specifically involve the Baka people in the Republic of Congo, who claimed that the rangers employed by African Parks have committed violent acts against them to prevent them from entering the forests they traditionally use for sustenance and medicine. And that's from The Independent. And despite these allegations, African Parks has stated that it maintains a zero tolerance policy for abuse and is actively investigating the claims. The charity emphasizes its commitment to upholding the rights of local and indigenous people and has called for cooperation from organizations like Survivor International to aid in their investigation. So, the Baka people in the Congo are being kept from their land. They're being beaten, raped, and tortured, and some have died from the beatings and the torture, to the point where these people are actually being hit with machetes across their bodies. And then they end up dying because of infection and trauma and all of that and blood loss. So Harry is on the board of African Parks right now to this day, and he has never once come out and made a statement about the Baka people. Never once. And this has been going on, gosh, I can't even remember how long it's been going on. But I reached out to Survivor International to talk to them about this. And unfortunately, all of their researchers are out in the field actually gathering research and information. But I asked them that once their researchers are freed up, if they would like to come on here and talk about it, because I think it's a very important conversation to have. A lot of people in Africa and other places in the world are being taken off of their land in an effort to conserve their land or for conservation purposes. And yet they're turning these lands, like in Africa, they're turning them into safaris and tourist places and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and they're beating and killing and raping and torturing these people just because they want to go on their own land and find their own indigenous food. And if I'm correct, these people are actually pygmies as well. So, this is just one example.
Okay.
One example of what Harry is involved in, where he has not stepped up. He has not made a statement. He has not done anything publicly.
Hell, I wonder if he's even aware of it.
He is. He's aware.
I was gonna say, because some of these athletes or movie stars, I mean, I'm not gonna mention names because I don't know, but a lot of them are attached as boards to these nonprofits or other organizations, but like literally these nonprofits are just kind of using their name. Like they don't really have anything to do with the group. That's their way of helping that nonprofit as they use their name, blah, blah, blah. So that's the reason why I was asking, is he even aware of it? Because with a board, you have board members and then you have member at large. And he might be a member at large. And member at large, I mean, they just have the fancy title on their business card. They don't really do a whole lot.
Yeah.
In some ways, I understand that idea, but also, like, he is a member of the royal family, and it's not just like Kim Kardashian sold some fitness tea or something on her Instagram, or, well, okay, I know you're talking about something totally different, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like some just random celebrity. It's like, it's someone who needs to be informed, and everything that the royal family or anyone associated with them, they should all just basically know what they're standing for and what they're doing and what's going on.
Yeah, and he has been alerted. Survivor International has gone to great lengths to alert him to the problems, yet he has still remained silent. And that is not cool to me and not cool to a lot of people. And this is just one example.
Well, just remember that Brett Favre, he was called out a bunch of times because of some money that was stolen, he'd being sued and all that stuff. And because everybody thought that he was quiet, he was guilty. And it wasn't he was guilty, he was gathering the information. That's why I was telling you before the show that, it's funny, like lies travel a lot faster than the truth, and sometimes it takes years for that truth to come out. So I'm just kind of bringing out a different.
No, and I appreciate that.
That's all.
I play devil's advocate all the time.
But I know what I understand what you're not talking about. The thing that kind of struck me, and I don't know any history really about the Pat Tillman Award, but it's kind of like when everybody was watching baseball and they was worried that the Toronto Blue Jays was going to win a national championship because they were thinking, well, this is the U.S. sport, keep the pennant in the States. Remember that time? And
I don't remember it, but I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And this kind of speaks to me the same way because yes, Prince Harry was in the military, but he wasn't in the U.S. military. And I think that there's more guys out there that are a part of the U.S. Army. I mean, like Dakota, I forget his last name. There's Dakota, there's Kyle Carpenter, there's Bobby Heenan. I mean, there are injured veterans that are doing things now that they should be up for this award, not Prince Harry, because Prince Harry wasn't in the U.S. Army. Pat Tillman was in the U.S. Army. That's the only problem that I have with this. That's all. But if he received this award, congratulations to him. I have nothing against him whatsoever at all. But I do think they need to kind of clean up the regulations for this award, because this award should go to a U.S. citizen.
Mm-hmm.
Or am I wrong?
No, you're very right. And I have issue with the fact that he's being given the award because of his work in Invictus Games. And if you look at the Invictus Games, there is absolutely nothing about the Invictus Games from a public standpoint that has anything to do with veterans. It has everything to do with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. If you go and watch the Invictus documentary, if you go to the Invictus website, anything you find about Invictus, 9 times out of 10, Harry is going to be the very first face you see or name you hear. And he hasn't done a very good job at promoting veterans. He's done a really good job of promoting himself and his wife, and that's it. And if you saw the, excuse my language, shit show that that the Invictus Games has turned into, it's absolutely embarrassing, and it's infuriating that so many people tout this thing as helping veterans, and it might, but from a public standpoint, I don't see that at all. Because I actually tried to go into researching the Invictus Games when I had Brian Conwell on my show.
Yeah.
I wanted to know more about that because I was very concerned that it was just the Harry and Meghan show. And from what I've found out, and Brian couldn't tell me a whole lot because Brian is going to be well, he's a professional para-athlete, so
Yeah,
he's trying to
really
get
active. He doesn't want any of the blowback.
Yeah, exactly. But from what I understand, it seems to just be a rigged system, and it's not really helping. It may help some individual people on a personal basis, which is good, but I think it's more of just a face of, or not even a face, just an organization for Harry to be in charge of. And honestly, he took the idea of the Invictus Games from the Warrior Games here in the U.S. when he came here and saw it. And so he imported that idea over into the UK, and the royal family set it up for him, and now he's the face of it. So yeah, I have a lot of issues with him, and I don't know.
We need to get you in a room with him, a powwow.
I would encourage any veteran out there who has participated in the Invictus Games or has been helped personally by Harry to please reach out to me, and I will tell that story. But publicly, I have not seen anything other than him promoting himself. And so that's why I have a hard time with him being awarded this. And he also, him and his wife have been known to buy awards. So I would not be surprised if he actually bought this award. Now, I don't know if that's possible.
I hate to tell you, but I mean, even in like the movies and stuff, the Academy Awards, like those awards are bought by those companies. I mean,
definitely.
You can tell it because when they read off like 4 different films, and you're like, I ain't even heard of these two, and those are the 2 that win.
Yeah, and that's actually why I haven't watched any awards shows in years and years and years. Probably over 20 years.
I won't do it because screw celebrities.
Yeah, I know.
I just know this from watching Adam Ruins Everything.
Oh.
Did you say you watch Adam Ruins Everything?
Yes, I do. That's where I learned all this stuff from.
You should do some research into that man because he's known to be very he doesn't do his research in a lot of things. He uses people he makes really an ass of himself on a lot of podcasts and stuff. This is like years old. You should definitely do some research into him, but I would not
Go watch.
I wouldn't.
Go watch Joe Rogan's episode with him. It's pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, it was Joe Rogan where he got into a fight. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. I knew there was some podcast where he made an ass of himself, but it was Joe Rogan, and like it's known to be like one of Joe Rogan's most crazy guests, or maybe not crazy, but the most altercations he's had with a guest. And he just made a complete ass of himself. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay, I'm gonna YouTube that. I'm gonna YouTube that when we're done here.
Not that I think he's the worst person in the world or anything. It's just good to know about when people
No, definitely.
Because I make an ass of myself all the time. So, and I probably will continue to make an ass of myself. And all we can do is try. So I'm sure he's all right, but
no, I think part of his problem is that he just wasn't willing to say that he was wrong, and that was on Joe's show.
I don't even remember what it was regarding. I just remember he just sounded
arrogant.
Yeah, and that's an issue with a lot of people, is that they're just not willing to admit when they're wrong. And I don't know. But do you think it's about time to take another break real quick?
Yeah, it is time to take another break, and then we're going to have probably the last epised last
segment.
Yes, sorry guys, my brain
It's
doesn't
been a long
function.
day.
The last segment, we're going to go into the weeds, and we're just going to talk about a couple of things, and I actually don't want to spoil them because Joel has something that he wants to talk about. Actually, he has two things that he wants to talk about. So, just stay tuned, and we are going to go to Papa Was a Pistol by Cade Roth and the Black Sheep.
Give it all up.
opinions expressed in this program are those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities they represent.
Find us on the web at mbradio.us.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Into the Weeds podcast here on Military Broadcast Radio. That was Papa Was a Pistol by Cade Roth and the Black Sheep. I see you like that, Joel.
We were just about to comment on that. We saw you in your little screen down there during the break, and we're like, okay, someone's having a good time. We love to see it.
Oh, yeah. Me, I dance all the time. I tell you. I need to do that on TikTok, but I'm too scared of it.
I love to dance, but I participate in what you'd call white girl dancing. It's not attractive. It's not cute. It's not. It's bad. It's bad.
He turns on Jonas Brothers in the living room.
Oh, absolutely. Jonas Brothers in the living room. Lately, I've been dancing to Chapel Roan, but I feel like nobody that would be watching this program would probably know who that is.
You know,
we need some more gays on here.
I'm just learning here, but maybe I shouldn't announce people that come in and say, you know, like, hey, what's up, country girl, Gen X, or, you know, all these names, because as soon as I say their name, it's like they get freaked out and they're like, where's that voice coming from? And then they leave. So, well, what do I do? Listeners, viewers, tell me, what do I do? Do I announce, hey, thanks for joining us, or do I just let it simmer a bit before I say something? What should I do?
I think it just depends. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a case-by-case situation.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard for me to pay attention. So if I'm not giving you guys shout outs, it's not from a lack of love. It's just if I'm reading the comments or looking at anything, I can't focus on what I'm trying to talk about. I'm very easily distracted.
So let me ask you. So I'm sure you have TikTok and you do TikToks and stuff. When you go into like TikTok lives, if people say, hey, what's up? Blah, blah, blah. Does that freak you out, or does that make you want to stay in that chat room?
I would want to stay.
Okay.
I've never had someone do that to me, but I mean, I'd stay. I'd stay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
everyone's different too.
I just wanted to make sure I wasn't scaring off anybody, you know?
I don't think so.
I'm good with that. Okay. Perfect.
No, I think for the most part, most people like to be shouted out or acknowledged. So I think it's always a good thing when you do that.
I mean, that's why, not that we need this here, but that's why, like, in a lot of live streams, they have like super chats, and a big thing, a big reason why a lot of people do super chats is so that they get a shout out and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, we're not doing that here, but
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to get into the Weeds segment right now. And this is where we explore the weird stuff.
Hey, lay it on us, Joel. What's up? What's been on your mind?
All right. So this, because it's an award, now I want to say very first thing that when we disclose this information that's been brought out, okay, we're just reading the information, but I had the utmost respect for Pat Tillman. I also know that I was in the service. And I have the utmost respect for the government, for the army, for the military. I get mad at times, but you know what? I know how it is running a nonprofit, and they're running a big profit, you know, the government. So I can respect, you know, that they try. Everybody's learning all the time. Well, anyways, without further ado, Pat Tillman's death was surrounded by a lot of controversy due to a series of misleading reports and subsequent cover-ups by the U.S. military. Initially, the Army reported that Tillman was killed by enemy fire during an ambush in Afghanistan on April 22nd, 2004. He was posthumously awarded the Silver Star and the Purple Heart for his supposed heroic actions in combat. Okay, so now I don't know about you, but like I'm like a full supportive fan of Tillman right now. My heart's starting to sink. Okay, this is the truth. However, it was later revealed that Tillman had been killed by friendly fire, not enemy combatants. Investigations show that Tillman was shot 3 times in the head by a fellow U.S. soldier from close range, and there was no evidence of enemy activity at the scene. The Army and known about the friendly fire incidents almost immediately, but delayed informing Tillman's family and the public for several weeks. This delay and initial false narrative were seen as attempts to protect the Army's image and maintain public support for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me sick to my stomach, and I'll explain why it makes me sick to the stomach, because, when there's a lot of things happening in the field and there's a lot of chaos, you have no idea what exactly is going on. And just because somebody didn't say something, well, did they even ask them?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's kind of like the poll numbers. I don't know why this president versus this president poll numbers are different things, because I never got a Scantron. I never got anything of those. So it's like, where are you coming up with these poll numbers? Am I not good enough to be a part of this poll?
I know.
This isn't what I would choose, but I don't know. Sometimes the truth isn't always very clear. I very, very seldom, I very doubt that he was killed by like friendly fire. It's probably like an insurgent dressed like an army guy or whatever that killed him. So I don't exactly agree with what this controversy is talking about. And and that's just my point of view. But he did a lot of things for veterans, and he showed leadership, and for that, and for everything that he left behind. No matter what people want to say, people volunteered after 9/11 because this guy volunteered.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody has to have that person that they lean on, that they mental. Okay. Like, I watch WWE wrestling because of Hulk Hogan. Everybody does something because of somebody. Somebody inspired them to do something. So, I don't know if I agree with this article or not. I can tell you that, the U.S. was definitely a better state when Pat Tillman was alive, and that he was fighting for this country, because he showed that, hey, look, everybody should have this attitude that no job is beneath me.
Yeah, and the world would be a whole lot better.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say the world would be a whole lot better place if everybody signed up for the military at least once in their life.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, here's another point of view. Like, we can sit here as veterans and say, well, we think these guys should, sign up for at least 2 years, service and stuff. But like, we're not like really looking like, would we go to war for these guys? Would we go to war for this government? I mean, I know that I wouldn't. So if I wouldn't do it, how can I expect somebody else to do it?
That's true. Yeah.
You know?
Especially this government right now.
Yeah, the only reason why I say no to the government right now is because I just, I don't trust them. I saw how the leadership and everybody reacted when we pulled out of Afghanistan. If you think it's going to be that bad to get Afghanistan, you have no idea what it's going to be for like the initial push. The initial push when we went to Iraq in 2003, I don't want to say that it was clean, but it was organized. I mean, they took down that statue in less than 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's the difference. It is a different time, different leadership, and unfortunately, there's more options out there now to, get these. I mean, I see soldiers doing TikToks and basic training in AIT.
I know.
I mean, that doesn't happen. But what? It's just like our kids. If we give them a little bit, they're going to take a bunch, and they're not going to learn. It's the same thing. So I mean, we get upset with it, but we're kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But once again, I got on my soapbox. I'm sorry about that, guy.
No, that's all right. No, it's now, did you serve in Afghanistan or Iraq?
I served in Iraq.
You did. And when did you go there?
Oh. The dates and stuff are kind of weird. I know what it says on my ERB, but I think it was a type O or something. But I know that I was in there from 2004, and then I know that I got back in like 2006, 2007. So in between there, it sucked. It was the same duty place. Like I literally relieved the guys that relieved me, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" So I'm glad that I didn't sell him a trashy walkie-talkie before I left, because he would have had my ass, you know. I've been waiting 18 months to do this, you know, kind of looking me up, you know. But when I got there, like, the only thing that really changed was we were in like tents and stuff, and when this time we were in hooches. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. And then we went to Warhorse, and then it was even more awesome because
What's
we actually
Warhorse?
got like Warhorse was like another fob. So I was at Gabe, and then I went to Warhorse, and Warhorse was awesome. And you know, I've had this mental block for several years, and I just started reconnecting everything, going through the hydrobarics chamber. Do you know what that is?
Oh yeah.
So I went in the hydrobarics chamber.
I don't, and some of the viewers might not.
Okay.
So
sorry, I'm somebody you have to dumb stuff down for.
Okay. So I gather a hydrobarics chamber. Once Navy SEA guys come up, they go in that, and that gives them like oxygen in case they like come up too fast or something like that.
To
And
prevent the bends.
in this hydrobarics chamber, it's kind of like it's almost like a coffin, but it's clear, you can see out of it. And the place that I go to, they have a little Netflix thing where, you know, you can watch TV, because you have to be in this thing for an hour. But I tell you, when I'm in this, like when I first started, I was getting bad like headaches and nightmares and flashbacks and stuff that I didn't remember. And it kind of freaked me out. So I would say the biggest thing about it would be, if you're going to go through a hydrobarics chamber, I would try to learn of another military vet that went through it, so that you can talk to them, kind of like a battle buddy thing, because like the investigator with me and stuff, like that was my battle buddy. He's the one that helped me get in that stuff. But you know, it's I think it's really important to have a battle buddy when you go in that chamber, because it does help a lot. It really does. I'm supposed to do like 20 more dives. That's what they call it. I'm supposed to do 20 more dives, and usually you're doing a dive, 2 dives at least a week, sometime even 3.
Now, what does this help with? I mean, what's it supposed to help with?
I think it's supposed to help with, you know, like my traumatic brain injury, my comprehension. It's supposed to allow like oxygen in there to heal. You know what I mean? It's supposed to help you remember stuff, like put 2 and 2 together. Like I'm putting stuff together that I didn't even remember like 6 years ago. Just little ticky things. And with TBI, this is a weird thing about TBI. It's almost like
traumatic brain injury.
From what I understand, it's almost like what's that? The guy, the Dear Doctor, he has that not the disease, but he's not hyper.
Autism?
Autism. So TBI is kind of like autism. Like, you can do something at a certain time, okay? And like you pick up conversations that people said, and like you don't comprehend much what with the situation, but what you're doing is you're kind of comprehending, and you're kind of focusing on what was said, and then 2 and 2 collide, and then you're like, oh, okay, all right, this makes sense now. But it could be like months and months. Yeah. But that's what I've been going through, and the chamber is very good at bringing that stuff out, because I guess it's
Now,
the air into your body.
now, have you had any? I mean, I know you said you were having nightmares and stuff like that, but is that the only adverse effect? Because I can only imagine it's probably working on your entire, life memories and things like that, not just war. So
Right.
you're picking up all of the memories that you've forgotten.
Yep. So if you have family trauma or any trauma whatsoever, I think I don't know if I'm a weird case, but ever since I remember stuff that happened to me, in high school, that stuff. So yeah, it goes all of it.
Okay, that's very interesting. I'll have to look into that because I've done the float, the float chambers or whatever.
Oh, what I got you for your birthday is what you're talking about?
Yeah, where you go and float in a salt tank or whatever.
I knew what it was until it mattered for me to say it.
And that was interesting. It definitely wasn't what I expected it to be.
Was it good?
It was good and comfortable, but I expected a little more out of it. I don't know what I was expecting, really.
The people that get the most out of it are on drugs.
Oh, that might be it too.
Hey, I've been told you cannot watch the Pink Floyd movie without being stoned to understand it. I don't know.
Always.
I've never watched it, so I don't know.
I've never seen it, but
you've never seen it? You got to.
But
the guy shows
I'd like
you how
to watch
shave.
it on.
He shaves off his belly button, or not belly button, but he shaves off his nipples and he shaves off his eyebrows.
What? His nipple hair or his nipples?
No, his nibbles.
Sounds like a normal Friday night.
Yeah, it's something about that song. I don't know the words of it, but yeah, Pink Floyd, The Wall, the movie. If you haven't seen it, educate yourself. Go see it.
Okay, we'll have to see that. Okay, so I just wanted to touch base on my next episode. So my next episode is with an archaeologist named Mark Zeiss, and he is a Christian archaeologist. And I wanted to kind of prepare you guys because I asked him some really strange questions, and I think he kind of looked at me like I was bizarre.
He was very respectful.
Oh, yeah.
We just weren't on the same page.
Well, I mean, he would have had to have done a lot of research on what I was actually talking about.
My mom is I also am too, but very interested in like cryptids and aliens and just different kinds of things, conspiracy type things. And I think that he just really hadn't looked into any of that sort of thing. Which totally fine. But she just had questions about that. And
I just kind of had questions about, folklore from different parts of the world that are the same, and it just seems like there's a lot more connection to people in this world than we've always given credit for. And I sound kind of weird when I'm in the episode, I think, because I'm asking him a lot of out of the box questions.
We also didn't really know what was appropriate to bring up to him just because, but something that I thought of quite often while we were talking about it is psychedelics and how they can influence some of those things, how maybe some of the stories that carry on through different cultures, maybe they're all taking mushrooms or, stuff like that.
That's an interesting take too. That is an
so
take.
I mean,
because you
can't
think
really tell, but I got a little mushy.
You think about that little game called the telephone, with the little and no matter what you say, they always mess it up, So it's like, were they high or drunk when they were writing the book, kind of thing, You don't know. I mean, I've seen pictures of like the moon landing. Okay.
Mhm.
Who's taking the picture?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Why is there
just
wind?
little things. That's all.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's just one example of things that there's a lot of conspiracy about. And so I just wanted to kind of clear up or get you guys prepared when you see it that I don't look like a raving lunatic or a weirdo. I am a weirdo, but more weird than.
Remember, Biden's brother got eaten by a cannibal.
Oh yeah, I know. You didn't hear about that?
Huh?
So Biden said that his uncle was traveling over, I think, Papua New Guinea, and he said that he crashed his plane and then got eaten by cannibals. And then I don't even think that actually. I mean, I don't think he even crashed his plane near that area or something.
Yeah, I think I heard something about how it was
he said. That's what I mean. He said it. That's what I mean. But you just don't know.
Yeah,
I think it ended up really upsetting like people from that area too, because they're like, "That's what you think of us as like savages that just do this and that."
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, no, but he definitely says a lot of things that are way out of pocket.
Yeah, unrelated to getting into politics, just after watching that debate with both of them, I think no matter how things go, it's going to be very interesting, kind of scary, but
What's
you know what? This
interesting
is the
is
life
the
we're
Trump
living.
supporters loved the debate. The Biden supporters got depressed, and the whole world got, come on, man.
I think it was more so just like insulting each other and not even like really proving what either one of them can do for the country. And I was like,
He said Trump had sex with a Playboy model. He said that at the debate. I'm like, really?
Yeah, said a porn star, which is even more.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they start talking about golf, and I'm like, well, I don't know. A lot of people are making edits about how it's gonna be like an enemies to lover trope, and people are like, playing like Seven Springs by Fleetwood Mac in the background as they're talking to each other. It's a cute little thing.
I think Tulsi Gabbard needs to, if Trump gets the nomination, I would like for Tulsi Gabbard to be the VP. If not, then I would want RFK Jr. to probably get the nomination.
I like RFK, but I have some issues with some of his things. But I have issues with everyone. I have a lot more issues with Trump, and I have a lot more issues with Biden. And you know what? With Biden, honestly, I think we're at the point where it's almost elder abuse what they're doing.
It is elder abuse.
Whether he's a bad person or not in his past life, he's not who he used to be. Like I watched a couple old videos from him, 10, 15 years ago, and he would have put up a pretty good debate, whether you like him or not at one point in time. But now he just is a complete and total shell of what he used to be. And it's just really sad. I don't know how they're getting away with even doing that to him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that his wife should be ashamed of herself.
And tell him you need to step down. You need to, I mean, yeah.
Or her wife taking charge.
Well, it's just kind of like when senators die and their spouse takes over for them,
Yeah, but I don't want Kamala in charge of this nation either.
You just stay over there, Malala.
What?
Huh? Are you talking about Melania?
So the Harris, the vice president,
Kamala,
yeah.
Interview with Drew Barrymore.
It's about Drew Barrymore. Did you see this?
Oh, Mama Llama.
No, she's sitting here and Drew Barrymore does this thing and
she always gets up in people's faces.
Yeah, and it's like, okay,
creepy.
It's like, if you know them real well, yeah. But if you don't, don't fucking touch me. I don't like to be touched. But anyway, but yeah, she's like, right now, I need you to be the mamala of the nation. And she said it with a straight face, holding her hand. And Kamala just goes, this is not a political thing. That is just wow. That is just wow. I need you to be the mamala of the nation right now. So
I never saw that. I'm gonna have to go watch that.
I'll have to show you later. Yeah, no, it's something. And it's not a really
And if it would have been Trump, okay, and she said, "Hey, we just need or Daddy Umpa or whatever," we would be laughing at that shit too. Let's just get it through, you know. We're not.
Oh yeah, no, I'm laughing at everything.
Funny. Yeah,
I hate everyone that's involved in all this stuff. I think they're all jackasses. We're screwed. We're screwed. What a time to be alive.
What did that say? Biden doesn't know what?
Biden doesn't know what he's saying.
Oh yeah, definitely, Vanessa.
It's
Biden doesn't.
It's that time, I think, because the Farrah Dozer show is on.
Yes.
Next, so
yes, we're actually going to end this now, but we thank everybody for hanging on and being with us in live chat, and we thank everybody for tuning in. I'm trying to figure my way out in this creator thing and trying to figure out what I need to do. And I think every other week I'm going to do a live. So I'll do one recorded and then one live, hopefully.
We're trying to figure all this stuff out. There's a lot of rough patches in it, so bear with us as we attempt and as we learn from our mistakes.
Yes, yes, most definitely.
Because we all make.
You guys, thank you for having me on. I love watching you guys and listening to you guys. You guys are really good together. You guys really are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I've known her my whole life.
You don't say.
Yeah.
All right, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much,
Thank you
Joel.
so much.
That's the show for today, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with an all-new show. And remember, you can listen to us again and again. The podcast of this radio show is available right after we go off the air tonight, anywhere that you can get your podcast episodes. And thanks for joining us today. I'd like to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart. Military Broadcast Radio is doing incredible work to support our veterans and bring their voices to the world. They rely on your generous donations and your dedicated volunteers. Okay.